Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast, here with both Joe and Ryan. I say here in the loosest of terms because actually we are in 3 different places to record this, which is new for us. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Very good, thanks, Lee.
That's here. I guess we kept our order going there, that Ryan says something and you say something as well. We fell into a good pattern with that.
I'm sure there's some
habit.
There's some psychology
it
there
could
somewhere.
Be a habit. I like it. Well done. So we had good weeks, guys.
Yes, good, thank you. You?
Now it's out there. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen. Joe, I know, Ryan, you have. What are the thoughts on our, as we called it, Poddle Box episode, listening along to Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Go, Ryan.
Yeah, I was apprehensive beforehand, but I think it came out okay.
I quite enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, for a first attempt, I think we did all right.
Yeah, I definitely think you guys were right, though, about having a bit of background noise going on in it. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I haven't listened to the whole of it. I just started listening to it tonight. I thought I'd better put it on. So I've been a bit crazy, so I've just tried to listen to it. But I am going to listen to it. But I like it. I mean, I think it's a good way. I think we should experiment with that, I think. And I did enjoy it. I think it's just a very natural way of doing it, I think. But I want to listen back to it, though, fully and see how we feel about it. But I think it'd be good. I think it's a good thing. I think it's just different.
Yeah, I like it. And listening back to my own wisdom on the whole ship in the bottle thing, I definitely think there's a spin-off podcast to be had with ship in the bottle episodes of TV show. So something to talk about further down the line.
That is the weirdest thing because I was watching Black Mirror. Been catching up on that, and there's a couple of episodes like, is that a ship in a bottle episode? I've got that in my mind about it. You know, they've got just a few characters. I think, is that? No, it's a couple of scenes. Those different scenes. I think, maybe it's not.
I've never watched that.
It's great. It's really good. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I have to stick to one series at a time. Otherwise, I'll just get lost and I'll stop watching one and carry on watching loads and never finish any.
I tend to have one serious and one comedy on the go.
That's so.
Which mood I'm in.
That is so weird because that's what I'm doing at the minute. I really focus on Black Mirror. I finished that and I'm about to go back to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and so that's really weird because I've got to get back on it because I know on Twitter I think you posted about the pod box and stuff like that in your little tweet, and I said I've got to get back on that. So it's a little reminder, which is good.
That's what I'm here for, Joe. Keep you on track.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, we thank everyone this week for listening to TV Recommendations Podcast. We'll be back with more suggestions next week. And of course, for Inspiration Nation, we are, of course, across all social media platforms. Joe made a reference there to Twitter. Listen to IN, listen TOIN. Joe is at JN Coaching Tech. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We are the Inspiration Nation Podcast. And don't forget TikTok as well. I nearly forgot his name there.
Nice.
What are you on TikTok, Joe?
JN Coaching Tech.
We are all across there. Comments, feedback, shares. We appreciate it all. And of course, don't forget, if you like what you hear and if you want to support us, leave us a review on your podcast player. Click that 5-star button. We really appreciate it.
Perfect. So, Mondo.
Topic for the day, Mr. Neuer?
Yeah, well, today it's about game breaking, or Game Breaker, I'm calling it. I think it's come out of the back of one of my videos that I did, the 1-minute videos. It's come off the back of that. So this is really strange because the last podcast, I was going to do this one and we didn't do this one because we did a bit of a spur of the moment thing with the comedy thing, didn't we?
Yes.
Which was fantastic. So this is really the one that would have happened the last time we recorded. So now it's happening now. So it's quite nice actually, because now I can sort of look back at it and thinking, it's really weird because I'm doing a little bit of a what do we call it? A bit of winging it this week because I haven't really looked at it. I've looked at it literally about 5 minutes before I came on the call, before I come on Discord, and so I am just going with my mind map and going to hopefully that will spring to mind what I was thinking about at the time. So there you go. Perhaps even more of that we talked about.
I like it. Always like a bit of winging it, Joe. You know that.
So, game breaking, this is what I was talking about. So, this is really about our patterns and whether we're conscious of our patterns. It's actually a really weird thing today happened to me today where, my daughter was talking about going up and taking us to this place which was quite a long drive away, and I thought I'd sort of dealt with fear quite well. You know, I'd doing these videos, pushing through that. But there's always these buttons that get pressed. And my daughter said, "I want to go to this place," and it's like I've got to go late at night. It's not now, but it's in the future. And I didn't. And I said, "I don't think I should be doing it." And my chimp was kicking off, and I didn't want to do it. And it was a compromise because I said, "Well, you've got to go to where you've got to go on train. They'll go and pick them up." But it's quite far away. It's quite late at night, and I'm quite. I suppose there's a fear of going on the motorways late at night. I could be there for like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and so I was kicking off a bit, and I was thinking, "Oh, there's a pattern. There's a pattern here about, you know, where my fear buttons are pressed. Like, I think I sort of crack it, and then suddenly something else will come up. But there's patterns deep inside us around when certain things are sort of put before us, we go emotional and we react in an emotional way, and that's what happened to me today, which is really apt when I was reading this, because that's what happened. It was, and I was in the kitchen washing up. I'm thinking, wow, and I was trying to reflect on it and why I came up like quite emotional with it. It's because I'm quite fearful of it. I think that's what it was, and it's a pattern, and it's something that, as we've done these podcasts, that I've become much more aware of it and aware of my patterns, where I will sort of push back when deep down I know I should be doing it, but I don't want to do it, and that's a pattern, and I'm trying to identify that pattern, and that's where this game breaking thing. So I've got to break that pattern to sort of be able to push me forward and to sort of take greater leaps. So things like doing these videos now and doing stories and writing blogs, and that's I'm okay with that now. Like, I obviously stretch the content a little bit, but now when things like this come up, and it's not really related to like the content or this what I put out, but it's related to everything everyday life where people might get these sort of fears come up, a reactional moment. That's your pattern, and that's where I'm talking about how we need to sort of concentrate on breaking those patterns that hold us back, because I think that me thinking like that in that particular situation is having that fear, but recognizing the fear and recognizing that pattern that I need to go, hang on, do I need to challenge it or not? Sometimes you might not want to challenge it, but sometimes you might want to challenge it. But I think it's bringing it into your consciousness and deciding whether you think it is something you should challenge or not, whether it's for working towards your dreams or your goals or not. So for me, challenges is pushing me forward. So if I go and do this, I am going to be pushing through something that's fearful. So that's going to be good for me in the future. And so I suppose there's two things here. There's the patterns, and then recognizing how do you challenge it, and challenging by accepting it and going, okay, so what's the, thinking about the question, what's the worst that could happen to me going and doing this late night trip when I've got to drive, I might be tired, well, I've got to have a bit of rest, I've got to make sure I get up there, know where I'm going. And I could feel my anxiety kicking in a little bit. I could feel that, I've got to find it, and I had to find out where it was, if there's any drop off, and so there's all sorts of kicking off. The chimp was going crazy. But after a while, when I started thinking about it, and sort of started consciously thinking about it, bringing it to the sort of logical part, I was thinking, well, it's not that fearful, really. It's just going up, driving up, and I've driven miles before. I've driven way past where this place is going to go, way past. But it's just probably a new area I've not been to, and that's why it's happened. So that's what I'm talking about game breaking. It's that pattern of behaviour. And it's those things that you tell yourself that don't serve you, I think, and that didn't really serve me in that moment. I reacted emotionally, and my daughter then reacted emotionally, and then, we all had to then sort of reconcile. And the way I deal with that is I just say, look, I'm just a bit nervous about it, I'm a bit fearful, and I'm quite open about what that is. And again, telling people that are close to me that helps discharge the sort of emotion and go, okay, I can deal with that now. But that's really what I'm talking about today, sort of game breaking those patterns, game breaking. It's almost like habits, but in the same sort of way. But they're things that you don't really realize that are happening, and that you can, if you can pick them up, because a lot of time you miss them because you're reacting emotionally, and then it's just really thinking about how you can draw yourself back. Say, actually, do I need to develop from that? So, what do you think on that? I know there's quite a lot there that I've thrown out there. What do you got? What are your initial thoughts on that?
So we haven't got the cues to look at each other here to know who's going to say what. So I'll jump in, Ryan. But if I talk over you, I'll just shut up then afterwards. It's a really good concept, and it's a good way of kind of really getting into nitty gritty on a few things we've talked about before, kind of high level around patterns and fear and your inbuilt behaviours. And I'm just trying to think of an example, because I definitely do this, and I know I've caught myself. Or you have that situation where you're in a pattern. And I had something like this. I've had a few things recently where I'm acting exactly like you said, Joe, emotionally to a situation, and then someone will challenge me on that. And even though I know they're right, because that emotional bit's there, it's really hard to kind of overcome it.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of willpower, and I suppose a lot of being open to challenging your own behaviours to embrace that. I mean, my biggest one I've talked about on the show from a fear thing is, and I think I've cracked it now, thanks to your support, Joe, but it's my whole barber's chair thing.
Yeah.
And it's that putting myself in social situations. I know exactly what you mean from that, doing something outside your pattern. I think I have the same, being invited to social gatherings and stuff that are a bit outside the norm.
Mm.
And quite often what I'll do, and I'll do an odd pattern where I will instinctively say yes because it sounds like a good idea. And then in that period in between when I've said yes and when the event is, all those little doubts start to creep in. Where's it going to be?
Yeah.
Am I going to know anywhere? One there? Who am I going to speak to? Where do I go when I get there? What do I do if I can't find the place?
Yeah.
Oh my God, everyone's going to think I'm an idiot if I can't find the place. And it just builds and builds and builds. And I think, like Joe, obviously we do catch up with some old workmates every so often.
Yeah.
And I still kind of run in a very small way, and it doesn't stop me doing it. But as I walk from train or taxi or car to the pub, I have that bit of, oh God, where's everyone going to be? Are they going to see me? Am I going to see them? And I power through it now, but I remember it used to be, when I was younger, it used to be a much more kind of disabling thought than it is now.
Yeah.
I think there's those, like you say, it's being conscious of it, isn't it? I think it's trying to catch it.
And challenging yourself and reassuring yourself that it's not as bad as you think it is.
Yeah. And I think that's the key on that. What about you, Ron? What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely have experienced what Lee suggested. I kind of thought of it slightly different than what he did, though. I think I have two. I think I have one professional and one personal. So you can pick what one you'd prefer to hear.
Let's go for personal.
Personal, okay. So personal me started a YouTube channel back in 2018. I was doing it as you do, and some people cottoned on in the real world that know me that I was doing it, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't like bullied or picked on or for it, but there was always like side snidey comments that people would make, which, you know, I put the content out there that I open myself up for that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But my computer broke, as some people will know, back in September, and I got it back in December, and I haven't managed to kind of yet push through that barrier of kind of getting back out there. Not because I'm scared or worried, I just feel like my life could do without that kind of situation. Okay. So at this stage, I'm kind of waiting for myself to really give myself the push to kind of get back on it and carry on doing it. Okay. And I think that's kind of what my initial thought was to it.
Interesting. Yeah, because that's that whole thing, isn't it? I mean, is it the snidey comments that put you off? Because this is the whole thing about opinions, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't... Put me off, maybe. Yeah, I just... It kind of depends, really, because I can live with those kind of comments. It doesn't necessarily bother me. It's just... I can't really describe it. Do I want to carry on doing it knowing I'm going to get the comments, or would I rather stop for an easier life and not do it again?
Do you love it?
Yeah, I think I do. But the comments definitely make me fall out of love with it.
Okay. So that's the whole thing, isn't it? We went back about people's opinions, and I think if you love it, you just got to not care about what they say at all. Because this is something you're clearly... I mean, we talk about this a lot, don't we? You're like, you, Lee, and me, we talk about it. You're a gifted games player. And I've seen some of your videos, and I think they're great. And I think the whole point about this is, like, I tell my girls this all the time, is that when people have talent, people want to shoot people down. And you have got a talent, and you've shown this. You've opened yourself up on the podcast. You've been honest about it, and they've just revealed that, look, you know, snidey comments may or may not have had an impact, but from what I'm getting, it has made an impact, and that's not surprising because I was exactly the same. I don't remember if you remember, Lee, when I first did my videos. I talked about when I first came back for the first time. I had that guy, shoot me down on Twitter.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this before.
We did, didn't we? Yeah.
And I remember, Joe, not only that you got that kind of thing on Twitter where they
Yeah.
put in the SHIT content thing.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
But you in our social group, people were giving you a lot of flack around what you were doing in the videos and putting yourself out there, and you just read through. And in fact, last time we were out, people were still mentioning stuff as well. But actually, what I've noticed is it will start off with joking, and it actually there'll be at least one person who actually starts to have a serious conversation with you about it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think you're a great example for powering through that and kind of not giving in to, like you said, people there's that natural human instinct to kind of do something defensive, such as taking the mick around someone doing something different or putting themselves out there. But people eventually, as you build momentum, that starts to shift as well. And I think you in real life, you've shown that.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, and it's that thing about the passion for it. And it's not that you don't, like, when you get those comments, you still look at them, and you still get a twinge. And I still get a twinge when you get some, and I just ignore them now. And I go, because what you've got to focus on is all the good that's going on. The problem is when our brains focus on the negatives, you might have like 10 brilliant comments, and then you get this one that goes, that was absolute. I was going to say a swear word then, but I didn't. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
start with S.
we've definitely spoken about it before. I think we spoke about it in the podcast before last, but I think we were talking about setting habits, and I just said once you do something once, you'll do it twice, and once you've done it twice, you'll do it 3 times. And look, I need to take my own advice really, and just kind of get back on it, because once I've done it once, I'll be up for doing it a second time, and then that should then restart the train theoretically.
Definitely.
Yeah, just taking that step to dive back in again.
Yeah, 100%.
Seriously, this is giving me goosebumps. Like you just saying about I'm going to start again, because I think it'd be great if you started it. I think you should like set yourself a date to go back on, because from what Lee's been telling me, when we're talking together, you're really like a talented games player, and you should be out there and telling people how to do these games and all that. I think it's fantastic, and I think when I was younger, I was well into like gaming, and I think if this happened a lot to me younger, I think it definitely would have been on that. But you've got a talent, you're really good at it, and I think what I don't like to see is like people sniding at people that have got talent, and they do that because they're not doing it themselves, and there's empathy for them because they're not living the life that they want to live, and all they can do is be snidey to the people that are trying to do it and trying to make it for themselves.
Yeah.
So, what I wouldn't want you to do is like look back when you're like in your 60s to 90s and go, you know what, I wish I'd done that. It's really funny because I had a guy I spoke to probably a couple of months ago. He launched a YouTube channel, and within about a year, about 5,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And he stopped. He got panicky about the amount of subscribers and started thinking, oh my God, it's low subscribers. And now, because there's comments that come and stuff. I said, you should just go do it because you're good at it. You're good. And the thing is, people do want to shoot people down when they're doing something that's good. When you get momentum, the thing is with this podcast or when you do your YouTube, Ryan, the bigger you get, the more you're going to get of it.
Yeah.
The more that's going to happen. So the more we do this, the more this grows, the more there's going to be people going, well, I don't believe it. That's going to happen.
Yeah, of course it will.
It's going to happen. And likewise with the gaming, people are going to try and shoot you down, but also you'll get the people that are going to support you. And from what I've seen, the video that I saw when Lee showed me your channel was like, great, really professional. You look really natural. Looks really fantastic. And I think, you should do it. But you've got to make that jump. And I think it is about that game breaking. It's about breaking it down and going, oh, I love this. Right. So as long as I love it, I go do this. And it won't feel like work. It's just something that you'll love. And now you're doing this and being open about it. It's fantastic because this is real life. This is the real thing that people go through. And there's probably other YouTubers out there, other gamers out there that feel the same, that could be super talented, but are not doing it because they're fearful of, people saying stuff. And again, it's always patterns, it's the fears that hold us back. And it's those emotional reactions which will hold us back. And it's just stepping into it, even bit by bit, even doing a shorter one or whatever. I'm trying to get a bit hip now and talk about Twitch and a bit of streaming.
I think I think that's when I say I'm acting like it's the comeback of all comebacks. I'm not. Obviously, it's nothing like that. But I think that's where I'm going to move to.
Brilliant.
And just start streaming. I think.
Don't forget
Good,
YouTube.
and
Though.
it is a big thing for you, though, Ryan. So don't put it down. Also, just to
Definitely.
caveat it, because I completely agree that you are very, very good when it comes to gaming and insightful and entertaining when you talk about it.
Here it comes.
Well, I was just going to say, you've got to remember that your ability is measured from my perspective, and you know how awful I am, so you just probably want to hold that in context. It's more of a put down on me than it is you.
Yeah. What's the date today? Monday. We're going to give out the real... Yeah, we'll give out the real date. Monday the 27th. So February seems like a clean month, doesn't it? Saturday evening.
What, you're going to start some twitching?
Yeah.
Good.
Look forward to this.
Stuff
And
it.
record it. Put it on YouTube. Record it. Can you record it?
I mean, yeah, I guess. It'll be live on there anyway. So, I mean, I can send you guys the links.
Yeah, well, definitely do it.
Joe, you did so well when you started talking about Twitch, and then you're just completely losing it now when you're checking if you can record stuff and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, well, I'm just checking because
I know none of this stuff.
If you create on Twitch, if you've got like content, keep it, plug it onto YouTube, and you've got 2 pieces of content for the price of 1. That's what I'm looking at. That's why I was asking. Yeah, I didn't know whether you could do it, but like it's fantastic because, Evan Carmichael, our friend, he's actually on. I'm trying to show my hip thing about gaming now. Look, going to say, "Oh, Joe, what do you know?" But it was about.
I feel that comment was directed at me.
But it was about what's the game called? It's really massive. Ryan, you probably know what it is called.
Pac-Man.
No, Pac-Man.
Space Invaders.
Oh, you're going to say Defender now, aren't you?
So what does it look like?
Oh, what's it called? Come on, what's the big one? It's not Fortnite. It's a platform type game. I've not played it myself.
Minecraft?
No. Oh God, what's
Platform
it called?
type game.
Oh, League of Legends. League of Legends.
Right.
League of Legends. Evan Carmichael has sponsored a player on League of Legends. I don't know what character it is because there's different characters and it's really complicated. Apparently, some complicated game.
Never played it.
I've never played it either, but apparently it's free to play. Apparently, my daughter knows about it. Apparently, the tutorial is a week. Anyway, he sponsors the guy on there, and the guy who's playing some sort of character is actually like being sponsored by Evan Carmichael to like play games and like push him further. And so I think like there's so much in it, and this is the gaming thing at the minute is massive and growing, and I think it's. And if you love it, I think oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I'm getting excited for you, Ryan. I don't know why, but I love it. I want you to get on it. I was like, be awesome. Just awesome to put yourself out there and just put yourself amongst those people because you've definitely got the voice for it and these talking about your gaming qualities and you know how to do the technical stuff. I mean, you've got all the tools, you've got all the abilities, and it's just what I hate to see, and I've always said it to everybody, like I've said it to Lee, I've said it to my daughters, I just don't like to see talent wasted. I don't like to see talent wasted at all.
No, I feel that. I get that.
Because it's just one of the things that it's about. Don't let those people. I was going to do another word there. Don't let those people, stop you from being, the person you want to be, and want to enjoy doing that process. If you don't enjoy it, that's fine. If you don't love it, it's fine. But if you love it, don't let the smallest of minorities stop you from doing the thing that you love, and you are clearly good at it. So, I just would love it if you just put it out there. So I would look forward to send me the link. I'll support you. Lee will support you. Inspiration Nation is going to support you. Let's get it on, and we'll be the support network for you, man. Good.
That was a brilliant bit of live on-air coaching there, Joe. I really like that. Do you know what? That would be a perfect segue to promote your website, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to cheapen your actual coaching. Instead, I'll segue into the shop because we're doing something different. As people watching more so will know than those listening. So we're in our 3 different locations. Ryan is using his video editing magic as is one of his many skills, and there should be 3 boxes on the screen right now, one with each of us in my one. You will see, as I'm putting out to the camera now, my Inspiration Nation mug.
Oh, I'll do it as well. I'm going to do it as well.
Oh, yeah,
I'll do it to that one.
Got yours, quick. Mugs
on
the
screen.
Look at that. Mugs on the screen.
Mugs away.
Mugs on the screen.
Look at that.
And put the mugs down, and there are still 3 mugs on the screen. Right, you can get these over at inspirationnation.org.uk. Just click on the banner at the top of the shop. There are t-shirts, hoodies. I'm wearing my hoodie. Are you wearing yours, Joe?
Yeah, I am.
Showing that there. T-shirts, mouse mats, stickers, tote bags, all that sort of stuff. which you can go over, get now, show your support for Inspiration Nation at inspirationnation.org.uk.
Excellent, really good.
There's some really good stuff there, Joe. I bet you didn't expect to go into a full-on coaching session.
No, I didn't, not at all.
And kudos to you, Ryan, for talking about it like that, and for setting yourself a goal to do it as well, which is really important.
Yeah. The last challenge we set on this podcast for me, I didn't achieve, so I've got to try and get one, haven't I?
Was that your dad dancing?
It was, yeah, it was.
Do you know what? I think that will happen. That will happen one day. I think that will happen.
No.
It will happen. That'll be a recurring theme of the podcast.
I just feel like I did my cold shower for nothing now, if I'm honest.
If we get 10,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel, I'll do it.
Deal.
Oh wow, that's
everyone. That is the Inspiration Nation podcast on YouTube. Share the heck out of it.
Yes.
I should probably set a target, shouldn't I? A target date. But no.
No, you've done it now. It's 10,000. It's 10,000. It's done now, Ryan. You've done it now. You'll be well into it by then, man, because you'll be having so many gaming videos. It's a walk in the park. It's a walk in the park. I'll have that tomorrow. You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Excellent stuff. So how are we feeling about that?
YouTube so hard.
Yeah, YouTube are loving this. They're loving this. Getting a lot of airtime on YouTube, aren't they? It's always good, isn't it? Okay.
So where are you on your game breaking, Joe, and your habits from I mean, because this is quite fresh. Was this today you were talking about this, or was this yesterday?
No, it's quite a while ago. It's just so for me, like game breaking it just came to my mind, and I can't remember when it was. It's a while ago actually. I think I wrote it. Even when I wrote this down, was like it was a while before. But it's just, I think it's a little bit like you get parameters. You know, I talk about it quite a lot sometimes in one minute video, not as a game breaking thing, but as the rules we set ourselves. We set ourselves our own boundaries. When we're born, we don't have any boundaries at all. Like we're just blank. We're just like we're just soaking everything in. So when we're born, now we just soak everything subconsciously. It's only when we start to sort of become more aware that we start to go, oh, hang on, we've seen that and we've seen something scary. When you start to build like sort of barriers and mental constructs around the things that we think we can't push past. And I heard this brilliant bit on the podcast about Roger Bannister doing the 4-minute mile, if that's right. I think it's right, 4-minute mile. And I think I heard Jim Quick talking about it. Jim Quick is he's like a brain master. He had brain damage as a kid, and he struggled with his memory and stuff. But now he's like a super memory man. And now he's super brilliant. He runs his own sort of memory and self-improvement workshop and stuff like that. So Roger Bannister, he was the first British middle distance athlete and neurologist who ran the first sub 4-minute mile at the 1952 Olympics in Helsinki. God, I do love this. This is so good to have this. Look at that, eh? This is so good.
Are you looking this up right now?
I am, yeah.
I've just got Wikipedia up as well.
That's it. You're probably reading what I'm reading, and now I've lost my app. I'm not lost you, have I? Because I've just lost my app. Anyway, but what happened was Jim Cook was talking about it, and he was saying that before anyone ran the 4-minute mile, no one thought it was possible. What they were saying is, if you run under 4 minutes, your heart will explode, and so that's what people thought. So people would accept that as evidence and say, well, I'm not going to do a 4-minute mile because if I do that, I'm going to die. So Roger Bannister said, well, I'm going to try and do it. And he visualized running a 4-minute mile. He visualized it and he said, I'm going to push it. And he did it. And then once he did it, guess what happened? How many other people
did it?
Yeah, loads of other people started doing it. And that's what we're talking about game breaking. He was a game breaker himself. He was breaking the rules, but he wasn't accepting other people's limitations.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Like we've been brought up in environments with our families, our friends, and they will have limitations of their own, and they'll put things and say, oh, you're never going to do that. And you will accept it. Maybe you'll accept it, maybe you won't. But a lot of times, if we're young enough, we would have had it as a barrier and say, well, I'm not, and that's what happens. I'm just trying to think of some of my, for my family, they just come to England, grew up, did their work. But when I talk about doing this Inspiration Nation, and doing all this podcasting and blogging, oh, you be careful with that. you never know what's going to happen. And that's the limiting beliefs, right? And if I'd listened to all that, I wouldn't have done it. I would have stopped. I wouldn't have even done it 10 years ago when I started this whole journey, like not just Inspiration Nation about a year ago, but like before that. But I started to break down the code. I started to break down the constructs. But that's hard, because all that was going into me as a young person, young child. The fear, it gets passed on, and you get accepting of that. And you say, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that because the people around me are telling me. Even now, I can hear people saying, yeah, why are you doing that? And even now, you get like feedback about, when I do my certain videos, about feedback, oh, use your hands a lot. I think my mum talked about it, and then when my family said, oh, use your hands a lot. It doesn't matter. Just be you. And I said, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, if you use your hand, I didn't want to, I didn't want to connect with it because the hands are, and for me, I was thinking, well, that content's not for you, because I've got to be me. I've got to be genuine. I've got to not, if it's constructive feedback around the way of the voice, whatever, or offended someone, that's different. But if it's just being me, if I'm just being natural, and even do it now, I use my hands a lot now. It's about T-Rex arms t-shirt, right?
Inspirationnation.org.uk.
There you go. But that's what I mean. It's thinking about those things and recognizing that you've got to be you. You've just got to be a genuine version of you. And as I'm doing these inspirational podcasts and doing my videos, I'm bringing me more into it. I'm being more me. And all three of us on this podcast, people connect with it because of us being authentic and genuine. And if they don't like that, they're not going to want to tune in. And that's what we want. We want people to connect with that, to support it. And that's the whole point. And all of us will tell, I'm talking about game breaking now, we'll all talk about it, but we'll all synthesize it in different ways. So Lee, you'll talk about it in a different way because you're processing that through your beliefs and value systems. Ryan, you're the same. You'll have your own values and belief systems. You'll then have your own view and take on things. And it's not wrong. It's just you. It's being authentic. And that's what I'm talking about, those rules and things we take on from other people. We take them on, we embody them, and that stops us going forward. And we have got to be conscious about breaking that down, or game breaking as I call it, and pushing beyond it, ignoring those things that people say, because we love the thing that we want to do. Doesn't matter how many subscribers we get. It doesn't matter about that. Do we love it? Yes. Continue doing it, because what we are doing, or what my intention is and our intention is to help people get better and live lives that are more fulfilling, and that they're going to love their life. So when they get to 90, when they get to 100, they can look back and go, hey, I loved that life. I took every opportunity. I gave it my best shot, and I'm happy with what I did. I have no regrets. And that's really what this is all about. Game breaking is about pushing into the things that won't hold you back. And so you can actually do the things that you love, irrespective of the criticism, irrespective of things that people say, irrespective of, what happens in your family. You are going to do life according to what you want to do life at. And that's what's important. I've gone on a bit there, so I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you guys speak.
That was good. I like that. I just need to caveat for people watching the video that we've had a slight technical hiccup on my end.
What have you done now, Lee?
Well, I don't know. My camera just stopped recording. It went back to my home screen. So I started it again, and I sneaked in a little clap.
Oh, okay.
So you can help sync the video, of course, without realising that everyone watching the screen will see me clap for no reason. So I thought I'd better explain it.
I'm shaking.
Have you done screen record, or have you done video record?
No, video record.
Oh, video record. Just kind of went off. That's odd.
Yeah.
You got a lot of apps open or something?
No, I don't think so. Don't know what happened.
I'm disappointed.
I apologise wholeheartedly. I really like that, Joe, what you said there. And there's now one of the things that does the rounds on Twitter every so often, a lot of people that we follow or follow us put up, is about this message of family, friends, teachers. They all teach you lessons to keep you safe. And if you follow what they say, then you'll never do anything new or outside the box or different. And exactly your message there about doing the scary things. And you will. And I think with all best intentions, because it is that message of keeping you safe, but everyone around there will, like you're saying, reward you off doing these things. But yeah, you're never going to achieve what you want to if you don't put yourself out there. And like you often say with a lot of stuff, Joe, even when you do and it doesn't work out, what's the worst that actually happens?
Yeah. What's the worst? That's a good question. What is the worst that can happen from it? I think making those decisions are around accepting if you go, look, I'm going to try this, I'm going to put the video up, or like when I do my videos, I'm going to put the video up, right? And if I accept the consequence that I am going to get at least one bad comment at some point, I accept that. 10 or 20 bad comments. I accept that. Once you accept that, that's fine. You go forward with it. It's fine. You accept it. You accept the potential outcomes. Once you accept that, it's the worst that can happen. What's a bad comment? So what? Okay, fine. That's okay. It's only one. Fine. Let's move on. Because you believe in the thing that you're doing.
Exactly that. Well, we did. Do you remember we actually had that conversation ourselves, Joe, when we started talking about this podcast, and we did say what's the worst can happen. Yeah. And we had that, and we talked about it a few weeks ago. As long as one person listens, then hopefully we've reached someone, we've made a difference. But we have big numbers of people every week who download the podcast, and not just numbers of people, but looking at locations, the same people week on week, and you people out there, you know who you are. We thank you sincerely for listening. But that comes from that same thing. And you know what? If no one listened, Joe, wouldn't have been the end of the world, would it?
No. But the thing is, it's the whole thing, isn't it? That was the worst case, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now, like, if we look back, and and Ryan, you're on this journey with us. It's amazing, and it's lovely because I love the way this is set up, because we've got three of us, and we're all like good ages. Like, I'm the oldest. We've got Lee in the middle, and we've got young and Ryan. But it's brilliant because it all shows at different stages where we are. And it doesn't matter what age you get to. There's still fears and challenges, whatever age you are. And and as I look at my immediate circle, and I can see people older than me, I can see their fears, and I'm thinking, well, when I get to that age, I don't want to have those fears. But the weirdest thing is that I have a family member who's going to a certain trip, and they're doing a zip wire, massive zip wire, right? I know I'd never believe they would do the zip wire. Literally, they're quite fearful, and they're doing a zip wire, and it's a really long one as well. I can't really say where it is because I don't want to divulge where they're going. But I was just wondering whether there is any influence from what we do on the podcast, because I keep talking about it. But I always talk to the family. I'm doing my podcast now. I'm doing the blogging now. I'm going to do it. I'm talking about it all the time, constantly. And now this person has joined Instagram, and they say, I'm watching your videos, and and blah 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 blah. And I'm wondering whether that's having a subconscious effect. Because I would say 5 years ago, this person would never ever do that, ever do it, and now they're doing it.
That's really interesting, and I've got no doubt it is, Joe. Not just from what you're doing, but the stuff that surrounds. I didn't really do anything social media wise until we started doing this, and by virtue of doing this, I now see a lot of content, and I've got no doubt that everything I see, all of that stuff shapes who I am. And I quote a lot of it to people, and I think about it a lot of the time. So, if you've got a family member, who's got that personal link with you on it as well, they probably definitely had that link. That's really interesting. So what's your thought on doing a zip wire?
Me?
Yeah.
You're talking to me? Yeah, I'll do it. Fine. I've got no problem with it. I actually would love it.
Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd do it.
Oh, I'm like the lone one here. I'm not sure I would.
Would you not?
Nah.
They're awesome.
I'm a bit of a thrill seeker.
I am, but within, like I could do a roller coaster. I don't know if I could do a bungee jump. I realise that's two ends of the spectrum.
You said bungee jump. That's different.
Yeah, zip cord's massively different.
Yeah. Not in
Bungee's
my head,
a bit different.
It's like
bungee
Batman type stuff, isn't it?
Well, bungee jump is a bit different. I don't know if I'd do a bungee.
Yeah, bungee jump, because as you hear those stories, isn't you?
That's good. We've hit your fear point then.
Yeah, bungee would be.
So 1 year from now, we will do the Inspiration Nation bungee jump contest.
What, you'll do the bungee jump, will you, Lee?
Well, if we're all doing it as a team, and I put it out there as a challenge.
Okay.
If we do, can we do over water? I'm
Yes.
just a bit fearful of over the pavement. There's one in Brighton, and they were doing it over a big mat, and they'd launched people off it. But when it went up, it went to the side, and I thought, oh, that snaps, man. They're going on the pavement. But the thing is with that as well, like with the fear things as well, I think there's a good place for fear. Like if there's a car running towards you, right, a physical fear, that's different to the fear that we're talking about, right? These are the fears we've got in our minds. What we talk about, if someone's like chasing you down, we talked about before about we took the mick out of me about saber-toothed tigers, didn't you, before? Let's remember that, yeah. And all that, wasn't it? But there's a difference, right? There's a difference. And I just really am passionate about people pushing past it, because there is, on the other side of that fear is that potential success that you can have, and that you feel great and you can feel proud of yourself for putting yourself out there. So like Ryan, when he does his video, It doesn't matter whether it doesn't get any views. It doesn't matter. The fact that you've done it, Ryan, the fact that you put it out there, that's your success. The fact that you're actually talking about it now is successful. You're being successful right now.
Yeah.
And I think some people get hung up on that, is that I'm not successful yet because I haven't got 10,000 followers. The fact that you're actually putting out content, the fact that you're being honest on here, Ryan, the fact that, Lee, you're talking about your fears and what holds you back, that's success. The fact that you're doing it and you're owning it, you say, well, I'm going to do this slowly. That's great. And that is success. And I think people forget that actually, oh no, I've got to have this particular result. We talked about results before. It's not about the results. It's about the process of it all, about you doing it and feeling proud that you did it and you pushed past it, because that's going to, the more you push past those rules and those game rules that you put up, almost like I talk about computer games, that really, you've got games in the computer, rules in computer games, people hack into games. It's like hacking through, getting the new skin or getting that new super weapon or whatever, because you push past that level. And when you do that in real life, you're pushing past that level, you're getting better. And that's what gaming gives as well, actually. If you give it an analogy, the more you play, the more you get, the harder levels you play, the better you get. So it's like life. The harder you play, the more difficulty you play at, you push past that again, you gradually go up the levels. You just don't see it. It's not a level, you see it like in a format, but you get better. You'll be more braver. You'll go, I'll say yes to that rather than saying no to it. I'm going to say yes to that. Even like for me today with that car thing, I said yes to it. I now got to do it. I felt really fearful, but I'm going to do it. And when I've done it, boom, I've done it. What's the worst that can happen, right? I could break down. Yeah, it could be a road traffic accident that comes up, but who knows? As long as I come back and I said, I've done it, and I'm proud of that. I've done it. And I've helped my daughter out as well. So it's all a context, and I think it's just important that we recognise all that.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, guys?
It's some very good advice there. And like you said, as we talked about, Ryan's going to push through that himself with it. I'm just trying to think of some I've got, Joe, that I can try and push myself with as well.
We've read the barber story anyway, haven't you?
Yeah.
That. Is there anything going on at the minute that you're thinking, well, I really don't like that at the moment?
Not in particular, although I reckon, halfway through tomorrow, I've probably thought of 10 examples just as this rattles around in the back of my head. But I suppose that's a good thing with this and what we do, and hopefully people get from this that are listening to this, is this starts to solidify some of those concepts in your head. And actually, once you start, once you've got those triggers to notice these things, that's when you can start developing, you can start working with it.
Yeah. I suppose the thing for me is like, I love The Matrix, the movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know if you've watched it, any of you guys. I just love that film, the very first one. And it's just like that, when you look at it, if you take it out and you go, well, actually, he's in the Matrix, Neo's in the Matrix, and, all of a sudden he's got all these rules that he's been bound by, people can't see it. He's then revealed that actually outside it, he can actually start to, change the rules, break rules, and all of a sudden, he's like become this superhero, whatever it is. And it's a little bit like that. Tom Bilyeu, I don't know if you guys any watching his stuff, but Tom Bilyeu talks about the Matrix, and it's like life, you make the construct. You are making the rules right now. The fact that you say I'm not doing that is because you're saying I'm not doing it. You're making that rule. You're making that. You're creating your life as you go. Every minute, every second, every decision you make is creating something around your life and around what you do. We say yes to something, we say no to something. There's going to be something that comes off the back of that that's creating your life at that moment. And however you take, when you step into that bravery, when you step into that game-breaking piece, you say, well, actually, I don't feel comfortable with that, but let's have a go. Let's see what happens when we do it. Yes, when you're creating your life, that's when you're getting stronger. That's where your growth is, when you're pushing yourself out there. With Ryan, when he's going to do his video with Twitch, or I don't know what other streaming services there are, but whatever the other ones are on gaming, when you're pushing that and you're actually showing people and also being honest about it. Say, look, I'm really nervous about this, guys. I've been away a while, but I'm going to give this a go because I'm really passionate about it. You're being authentic, and people can connect with that, because a lot of people out there that are listening to this podcast now that want to do a blog or want to do a video or want to write a book, and they're just stopping because they're just fearful of not doing it, or just starting. I'm not good enough. That's enough. I haven't got the time. So all these are the constructs. Those are the rules that you apply to yourself. You can make the time. You can get better by practicing, by doing. You can get better all the time. You can look up YouTube videos. You can do research online. like setting up this podcast. We don't know how to do a podcast. We talked about before. Lee went off and researched and done a podcast. We don't know these videos, and we just had to do this Discord thing. I was a bit nervous about doing this Discord thing. I'm like, what is this Discord thing, malarkey? And we got a lovely Ryan sorting it all out for us, you know. And we sorted it all out. Didn't we?
Most of my hold on. Most of my research for how to put a podcast together was mostly speaking to Ryan and saying, "How do I do this?"
Oh, there you go.
To give him credit.
There you go.
Thank you.
Right, for those people watching, people listening won't care. You're going to hate me now, Ryan, because my generic phone that sounds like Snapple storage is full, so I don't have any more video now. So my screen will either be black or have some funky graphic on it for the end of the show.
Oh no! Did you not look at your memory, Lee?
Well, it didn't even cross my mind, so I'll have to do some clearing out later.
I'm gonna give you a webcam next time I see you.
Okay. I failed. I'm like, no. It's fine. I failed abysmally. However, we've learned, and next week I will debrief with you on the lessons that I've learned from this. It's not failure; it's just a learning opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Does
that
work,
isn't it?
Ryan? Does that get me off the hook?
Yeah, I'm gonna put some memes in place of your face. Though.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Baby Yoda instead of your face.
Oh, that'd be good. Yes, Baby Yoda would be good. I like that, Ryan. I would like the sound of that already. Baby Yoda. I like that. I like that a lot. I do like that.
That gives me PTSD to when Joe sang Baby Yoda.
What's that? What did I do? How did I do it? What did I say?
I'm not doing it.
You do like to bust out a song every song.
Those that have listened will know.
Did I just sing it?
Yeah, you did. I remember this.
Go on, Lee.
No, we're not encouraging you to do it again.
Go on, can you tell me how I sounded?
No.
Awful. That's how you
Baby
sound.
Yoda.
Off camera, I will.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. I really can't remember me singing Baby Yoda.
We'll have to put that into our best of episode.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do that. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it, for the year, wouldn't it? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be good. But yeah. So all this thing is really, again, the game breaking thing is about who do you want to become, like. You know, what is your ideal you? If you could just strip everything away, if you could rebuild from bottom, we talked about it before, take everything off the table, what would you want to put on that table? You know, what would it be? You know, get rid of the rules. And even today, even on my blog, even on the blog that I wrote, I said, if you're going to write your life, your ideal, write down, actually it's going to be an exercise for the podcast, right? To game break, right? Write down on a piece of paper, take even 5-10 minutes and write out your ideal life. What would your ideal day look like? What would you be doing with your life? And there's no boundaries. You've got all the resources you need. There's no money. It's not about money. It's like you've got infinite amount of money. What would your dream life look like? And people sometimes go, oh, I'm a bit scared to do that. Why? You should be able to do that and think, oh, it's a bit airy free. No, because once you start to say, this is my ideal life, you can start to build towards it. I bet there's someone out there that has that life, and they would have built it in some way, and there must be a pattern to be able to build it. And so, but if you have it written down, if you take a construct and go, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write them my ideal life. What does it look like? Take that as an exercise, go do it. And if you go on the blog, you'll see that I've got the exercise there. Go do that. And it's exciting because if you can actually, because all the things you're going about, oh, I can't write that. Why can't you write that down? Why are you saying you can't write? Why can't you say that I want to be the most successful YouTuber in history? Why not? Why not? Someone is. PewDiePie's done it. I bet he's out there. I can't believe I know PewDiePie. That's amazing. I don't know him personally, but I know I've done that. Right?
Thanks for qualifying that bit.
PewDiePie. It's only because my daughter knows him, so but not doesn't know him, but you know.
He only lives
but
down
he's
the road from
massive.
you.
He is Brighton. He's actually in Brighton.
Yeah.
But like, I bet he's done it. He's the biggest YouTuber. So there's a pattern. He's done great content. He's done amazing content. It's just about that. If you keep creating great content, you're gonna get subscribed. So it's about you just got to be brave enough to write it down and just go, right, what's the first step? What's the smallest step? We talked about it before. But write out your dream life. Go for it and just see what happens. What do you think about that, guys?
Couldn't agree more, Joe.
So I want people to do that.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And I remember when I was young, in fact, probably I'd have ideas of doing things, and I'd have in my head one of those constructs, exactly like you're saying, where it's like, that's not for people like me. Yeah. I'm just I don't know, ordinary is not the right description for it, but it would just be like, people like me don't get successful. And as I've got older, you realise that you just put yourself out there and you try things. And I think a lot like you say, I was so focused on the results and expecting results to come quickly that it completely stops me actually doing anything. Whereas now, like we've been doing for the last coming up for a year now, it's just been about doing it, not what happens, how good is it, how bad, how many people are there. We talk about in the journey updates, we ride all the ups and downs. But it's been about enjoying doing it rather than being so focused on, some sort of successful results that other people will acknowledge as being successful. And I think that was often my biggest barrier.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, and and that's same for you, Ryan. Like just should love doing it, and that's Lee's exactly right. Just do it because you love it. It doesn't matter what happens because you enjoy it, and that's the point. With this podcast, it's all around, we enjoy doing it, and that is it. And it's being patient. We want this podcast to be the best podcast in the world, right? In the world, right? Got to start somewhere. Got to start doing podcasts, right? Got to start doing podcasts. It's not going to happen, right? So that's genuinely where I want this podcast to be. For me, this is the best podcasts. We're involved in the best podcast. That's it. If anyone listens to this, it should be the best podcast that you are listening to, right? And because we want it to be the best podcast. If not, give us feedback. Let us know what you want to see, what you improve, right? But we want this to be the best podcast. I think I'm enjoying it. It's the best podcast. It's great. I feel energetic, and like I was saying to Lee and Ryan earlier, when we come on, but I felt really tired, and I felt I had a really exhausting day today. But I feel energy from this, right? I get energy from the things that I love doing. And if you get that, look at that. I mean, my energy levels just shot through the roof because I'm doing this. I just feel inspired by talking with you guys and talking about these, these things that we're trying. We're actually doing it. We're living and breathing this. You guys and we are together doing this. It's happening. This is crazy, which is fantastic. And I think this is all about what I'm talking about today, breaking those constructs. And if you said to me like 5-6 years ago, I'd be, 10 years ago, if you said to me, right, Joe, you're going to be sitting in your front room with a computer, 2 cameras, you're going to be talking to Lee and Ryan in a podcast about inspiration and helping people. 10 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. So you can't plan 10 years ahead, can you? You can't plan it ahead. You can't plan it.
Absolutely right.
Think about your journey from 10 years ago. And you, Ryan, would you have imagined this?
No.
There you go. We don't, do we? So that's the whole thing. And that's the thing. It's just difficult to plan those things.
In fairness, I was 14 10 years ago, so I don't really know what I was doing in my life.
What were you doing? What was your thoughts at 14? What was you think? What was your like?
I don't know. 14? I don't know if I can share them.
Well, you can put a caveat on it.
It was just 14 was just school and gaming, but now my life is work and gaming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still gaming. So what was it? Did you want to just play games all day and stuff like that?
Yeah. I don't know what I really like about them, but ever since I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, I've been playing games and nothing's really changed.
Those were the days. I remember that. I say that like we don't go on and play Xbox every night.
Yeah, playing. What's that game where the egg used to storm the castle on the N64?
The egg.
Dizzy.
Yeah, Dizzy. Yes, Lee.
Look at that! I'm all over it.
That's really good. I didn't know that one.
Spyro, he's played that as well.
Oh, Spyro the Dragon.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, remember that one.
Right, so guys, we open the show with a lot of advice for people on TV shows to watch. Are we now wrapping it up with computer games?
Oh yes, I love it. I love it, definitely, because the wrap-up, even last night, my daughter said, "Oh, should we play?" Because I've got an old PS3, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to try and upgrade." I think at one point, I'm just waiting for the latest game, The Last of Us, to come out for me before I upgrade. I really want to play that. But I've got an old PS3, but I'm getting some old games. I've got Uncharted 3. That is excellent. Really enjoying that at the moment. So we're just playing through that together. So yeah, really enjoying that one. So yes, I'm getting back into my gaming a little bit by bit. And I think it's because of you, Ryan, actually, to be fair. It's down to you. You talking about gaming, I think, want me to get sort of back into it a little bit. So
We could have
thanks for that, Ron.
we could have an Inspiration Nation squad.
Yeah, that would be good. That
Like
that's
it.
great.
People out there, if you want to join the squad, send us a DM. What game you'd like to play, and then, as we always do, we'll get Ryan to set it up.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ryan.
No worries.
Because that is what he's good at. Right.
You
is
are
there
good at
anything else from your list there, Joe, that you need
let
to
me just have a
cover
quick
off?
look. So another thing, now I've gone for a little bit longer, but I'll just finish off with this.
Yeah, of course.
Just one last thing before we sign off. One last thing. I've always said about design your life, write it out. And this thing about, it's not the right time. It's not the perfect time. It's never
the
going
right
to be
time.
the perfect time, right?
Yes.
Just go do it now. Don't wait. Just start. Don't. It's one of the things that kept me off on Inspiration Nation was the content that said, you're ready. Just go do. Just start. Start. So you'll never be ready. Don't wait for the perfect time. Just start. And I'm going to leave it at that. Boom.
I love it. That's a great message. Very quickly, I just want to get a mention for numerous examples of Joe's coaching today. If you like what you hear, head over to JN Coaching Tech. Just stick it into your Google machine. It's Joe's website. Lots of fantastic resources. You can message Joe on there if you'd like to engage Joe's services to help you in the way you heard him helping us on air there. And that's where you can get, you can see Joe's daily videos there, and of course on Twitter and the videos on Instagram as well, Joe. Or am I making that up?
Yeah,
Instagram as well.
Videos on Instagram. So yeah, just don't forget to sign up to newsletter as well. Got a newsletter on there. Please sign up to that because you'll get an email from me once a week. And I'm sort of taking a bit over you, Lee, aren't I? Here, I'm crashing.
That's right. You're covering all the bits. What are we up to on the videos now? We've got to be in the
460. 460. It's day
Nice.
460 today. One other thing I'd just say was, what did I say? Blog. Yeah, don't forget to comment on the blog as well. Want more comments on the blog, people? Just get involved in there. Let's get it on there. Let's get this shared and share it with lots of people as well. Let's get this out there and let's really get this getting going as well.
Absolutely. Again, at Jane Coaching Tech across all platforms. The show is at Listen to IN, Listen TOIN. Please leave us a review, share everything. Like Joe said, just get the message out there.
And also, I think, Lee, going on future, I think once Ryan gets up on the YouTube, we need to be promoting Ryan's YouTube as well.
No. We promote enough on here.
Yeah,
I won't reach.
I'd be good. I think it'd be good just to get that. Be nice because I'm going to go. I don't support it. I don't support it.
Right. So, is that us?
Okay. Yes.
I'll count us down. Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you again next week. 3, 2, 1.
Inspiration Nation. Catch you guys later. That was disjointed.